cosmic consciousness, extraterrestrials and UFOs, sacred geometry, ancient civilizations, spiritual connection, the quantum universe. All of these topics and so much more with your host, Sev Tuck, on Alien Spirit with Sev.
Hello, welcome to Alien Spirit. I'm Sev. Tarot cards. They have a fascinating history. They were used as playing cards in Europe before they became a tool for spiritual insight. The world of tarot cards has changed dramatically over the past couple of decades. Many of us have either gone to a tarot card reader or used tarot cards ourselves. These days, when you go on YouTube, there are so many tarot card readers. Are they giving us good advice, or are tarot cards a game? Today, we talk with Angela Lucy. She's been reading tarot cards for over 20 years. Angela has been featured on MTV's Jersey Shore, CBS Sports Radio, BBC. She's appeared in Cosmopolitan Magazine, Huffington Post, The Washington Post, The New York Post, The New York Daily News. Angela Lucy provides tarot readings in person or online for private, corporate, and promotional events of all kinds. She goes all over the place doing her readings. And she says there's always an upside to every reading, and I like that. Angela Lucy and I met in 2019 in a rainstorm at the Atlantis resort in the Bahamas. All of a sudden, this rain came and everybody ran for cover. It was really crowded. And there was a seat at the bar. So I went and I sat down next to this lady who started small talk. And she asked me what I did for a living. And I asked her. And then we were both like, ding, friends for life. Please welcome Angela Lucy, tarot card reader.
Hey, nice to see you again, Sev. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Oh, it was a crazy, crazy time at Atlantis. That was just so serendipitous.
I know.
Yeah.
And that was 2019. So much has happened.
When you said 2019, I was shocked. I was like, what?
Yeah.
6 years ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do remember sitting next to you talking. And as you were telling me what you were doing, I was like, oh my gosh, I had been led to this woman. Of all the people in this pavilion, I come and sit smack right next to you.
I was at Atlantis Resort that whole week. That was the only cloudburst the entire week. And I was just completely caught unawares. That was the only bar that was like near me. I was running. So it was very serendipitous. And as I remember, I think you and a friend of yours at the time were on a sailboat trying to explore the real Atlantis near Bimini. And you had ended up at Atlantis coincidentally and ran into me.
That's true. You remember that. We did. We were sailing through the Bahamas and storms were coming up. And my partner at the time knew that I didn't like to be on the sailboat in a storm.
Oh, who does?
And so he's like, hey, let's just pull into the Atlantis resort. I was like, oh my gosh, it's fabulous. And we ended up sailing to where they think Atlantis was, the Bimini Road. I jumped off the sailboat. I dove down and I touched the Bimini Road. Yeah, that was something I've always wanted to do ever since I was a little girl.
I remember that very distinctly. And you were at the real Atlantis and came to the fake Atlantis. It was great.
You know, I liked the Atlantis resort much better than I thought I would.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
It is fun with all those water rides and slides.
The nice restaurants.
It's well done.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to like it, but I would go again.
Yeah, it was pleasant. Really liked it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I have so many questions.
Uh-oh.
First of all, let's begin with the history of tarot cards.
Okay. Now, this is open to interpretation, and any tarot person is going to contradict me or have their own opinion. My opinion is that the tarot originated in Egypt. and there was a temple. And on the sides of this temple were carved the original major arcana cards, of which there are 22, starting with, you may be familiar with the names. Ooh, I have the Fool right here. Starting with the Fool and going on to the Magician and on through the Fool's journey through life. And these images were carved on this temple. And I think eventually it was transpired. I mean, this was before printing presses, where people say that the tarot originated perhaps in France or in Europe as cards, which they absolutely were cards. But I think the gypsies, short for Egyptians, okay, that were traveling, took the history.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
never heard that before.
Egyptians, gypsies, right? They misnaming Egyptians that were traveling, or they thought they were Egyptians. And they kind of transposed them onto cards and used them for divination. But the temple, as I understand it, and this is what I heard and what kind of rang true with me, that was destroyed in World War II or one of the world wars and lost to the sea at some point. So that is where
Sorry.
I
I'm sorry. Did you hear a big bang?
just a little.
Yeah. Okay. My iPad fell. I'm so sorry.
Just a
All
little
right.
bit.
Please continue. I apologize.
It's okay. And so I believe that that was the original origin of the tarot, that it came from an Egyptian source, ancient source, and was
Hmm.
just, or perhaps orally and perhaps, just by cards or whatever, drawn and evolving into the 78 cards that we now call the tarot. The other 56 cards, now they can be more easily translated into the playing deck that you and I know. 52 cards, kings, queens, pages, all that, and the numbered cards, and they represent more, not so much life's journey as people, places, things. Should I go to the market? Those kind of things that support the other more meaningful cards that are the big lessons that we're supposed to be learning in life.
So those were added in later.
Yes, they were somehow added, and
Okay.
they were, and probably for gambling purposes and things like that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, well, the Fool is one of my very, very favorite cards.
both have it. Fool.
I know.
Okay.
I love the Fool. I love what it signifies. Also, the Wheel of Fortune is one of my favorite cards.
Love the wheel too.
And the other one is the World. These are my 3 favorite cards.
Those are good ones. The Fool, leaps of faith, trusting in God. I always use that, the expression, the analogy, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, when he's at the edge of the cliff and the Holy Grail is across the big chasm that's impossible to get to. And the book says, you must take the leap of faith. And he's, no, I'm going to die. I'm going to fall into this chasm. I'm going to, hurry, Indy, you have to save us. And he's like, okay, I guess I have to jump into this chasm. And all I know is I'm going to die. That's it. He jumps. Turns out there's an invisible bridge the whole way. Remember? He goes across, it's like a trompe-l'oeil bridge that he couldn't see unless he had taken the leap. And he was able to get across, gets the Holy Grail, saves his father from certain death, kills the Nazis, all the impossible things. That's why the Fool is like, to me, the 0 card. It's the only way. There's no other way to create miracles than to be the Fool and jump off that cliff.
Yeah.
So that's a good card to be your favorite one. Arguably the most powerful card in the whole deck. It's so I love that you love it. It's like like jumping into the ocean and going down and touching Bimini. I don't know what's going to happen down there. Yeah.
I have jumped off of many, many cliffs in my life. I have. Okay. The sun. Why do you think I like the sun so much?
Well, it's just a happy card, first of all. But I mean, the sun is just, I have another tarot friend and we kind of laugh when we get the sun in a reading. We go, you can't argue with the meaning of the sun. It just means the sun. It means happy. It means open, a yes card. If you're asking a yes, no question and you get the sun, it is a yes. Like, why are you even asking? It's a big yes. So it's a big affirmative card. It's a big affirmation, embracing life. Wheel of Fortune, love it. It means that you are moving forward when it's upright. A lot of times I will get it when they come to me for advice. A lot of times they're a little bit stuck. So I get that card a lot of the times in the negative position. When it's in the upright position, it just means things ticking forward for you. I'm getting to the next step. Not anything big and dramatic, but I'm moving forward. It's okay. Let's keep going. If it's in the negative position, it's like I'm stuck or I'm moving backwards. I got to kind of get out of my rut here.
Okay, that's interesting that you bring up the reverse positions because some people don't read them reverse.
I don't read the cards, well, not to get technical. I don't read the cards reversed upside down, but I do when they come up in a spread, which we call the way that we put the cards out onto the table. They can be in a unhappy position, a negative position. So it could be the Wheel of Fortune might be crossing you. You're not moving forward. It might be in the negative, affecting you negatively. So it means it's probably not, you're not moving forward. You're moving backwards or stuck. So the position of where you put the cards also means a lot. The tarot is a book. Okay, if you want to think about it in shorthand, it's a book like a Tibetan book, like Tibetan books that are unbound and they read them like this. It's really just a book with pages. And the way you read the pages are to put them out into different spreads, or depending on the question that you ask the tarot, I'll put out a different a different way of aligning them. One is the Celtic Cross, which is about 10 cards that examine the whole aspect of your situation. I can just pull one card for a yes or no answer, past, present, future. But the meaning of, if the meaning is a past, this is what happened in the past, in the present, in the future. So the card takes on a different meaning every place that you position it. So it's the card itself and the position. Also, they talk to each other sometimes too. You'll see, oh, this card is talking to this card, or I see one card facing this one, and I'll say, oh, this card means this. So there's a few levels to how you read them.
Yes, and there's various different spreads too. Also, doesn't the reader matter? Like, is the reader psychic or plugged in or not? Does that affect?
People ask me that. They say, are you a psychic or are you a tarot reader? It's like, okay, the tarot is just a tool that allows me to tap into my psychic abilities. That's the way I look at it. You could use a crystal ball. I could use palm reading. People use palms. You can use Rice Krispies. You can crunch it. Some people do. People use Maori shells and throw them out and read them, or scrying, gazing into. Yes. Scrying means gazing into the crystal ball and seeing the patterns as they evolve, and you might see, should I take this trip? And somebody might see a dragon or something. It's like, no, it looks dangerous, or different ways of working. It's just, I was an English literature major, so I'm more into symbols and telling stories. And like I said, this is a book. So this is just the way that I like to,
And with this the Rider Tarot deck, which is my favorite deck.
Yes.
The artwork, wasn't it a lady who created this artwork?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Good, Sev. It's now called, politically correct, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Because the lady was named Smith and she was always omitted from the credits. The Rider was the name of the publisher. Waite, W-A-I-T-E, was the magician who did the symbols. And Pamela Coleman Smith was the drawer, the artist. So she drew all these cards that you are probably most familiar with. She was also called Pookie. She was this friendly little person. She was kind of an exotic little person. She had an exotic mother for her time. It's like turn of the century. But lately they call it, to be politically correct, the Rider-Waite-Smith, because she was never really credited, but she was an artist, of many things.
Okay, well, yeah, many things. Like, was she spiritually connected? Because when you look at these cards, there is so much symbolism in there. Like, you can look at, yeah.
You can go on and on and on. I mean, every card you can talk for about a half an hour. So it's a lot. There are also all the other disciplines are incorporated into the cards, such as absolutely astrology. You'll see a lot of astrological symbols as you explore them.
Oh, really?
And you will just, sometimes it's even just printed on like the Fool's. I think he has an astrological symbol on his clothes. You have to, I mean, you really have to go deep into these little print on the fool's clothes. I forget what the symbol is, to tell you the truth. But you know, you'll see them hidden everywhere. Also, the Kabbalah is incorporated into the tarot. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just, you know, there's Jewish symbolism. Obviously, there's Christian symbolism. You name it, it's got it. Okay. There's the Pope is the Hierophant card, and you know, he's shown as the Pope. So lots of different things. Oh, here's Archangel Michael, my favorite angel. Hi, Michael.
Oh, that's
And
Archangel Michael on the King of Swords.
I call him, I attribute that card to Archangel Michael. It's the King of Swords. It's really a person. You know, the kings and queens I consider people. You know, they're always people, and people say, well, that could be, you know, a lot of times when people see cards that come up that look like them, I'm like, no, you can't come up in your own spread. This is someone else in your life. But yeah, you can go.
Wait a minute. You can't come up in your own spread, because from what I understand, my card is the Chariot. And so, yeah.
I wouldn't. Well, you can use that as your own card if you like. That's fine.
No, that's what I've learned, that because I'm a Cancer, that this is my card.
See, astrology is incorporated. But yeah, you can use it that way. Me personally, I'm always the Queen of Wands, because I just go. I mean, like I said, every reader is different. I go because it's my hair color. And also, I'm someone who talks a lot. And
so you can pick your card. So I would pick the Empress, I think is what I would.
Okay, you
can the Queen. Or the Queen.
Just designate it, and then it will be so. So, but yeah. But see, this is the card I use for me. If somebody's saying, if I have
Which one is that?
The Queen of Wands, because she's hair that's
okay.
fine, and she likes cats. There's a cat. And also there's, she's usually a communicator. The wands are usually a lot about communication, energy communication, things like that. And I was an English literature major. I like to talk, you know, I like to perform and tell people about the tarot. So I just say when that comes up, it's like, oh, that's me.
Now, can you tell the future?
The cards will show you what's going to happen absolutely. I broke up with my girlfriend. How's things gonna go? Okay. Are we gonna get back together? That was my question for a client earlier. And I got, no, it doesn't really look like anybody's gonna make any effort to move forward. But you can always, I always say, it is not written in stone, whatever's gonna happen in the future. If I said, I just don't see you or your girlfriend making an effort to get back together strongly enough to get you back together. I said, but of course he could hang up, but I always tell him, it's like, you can hang up the phone and go beat down her door and say, oh my God, I can't live without you. And that will change, you know, the outcome will change. You have free will. No one can mess with your free will, including the angels. That free will is the most powerful force in the universe. You can do whatever you want with things. You can mess up your life. You can make it great. You have free will.
Can you get addicted to tarot?
Oh, sure. A little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, is it safe to read for yourself? I've heard you shouldn't do that.
I think that's a great question, Sav. Okay, because it's hard to read for yourself. Even like if I'm emotional about an issue, like, oh my God, I'm so what's gonna happen? Yeah. And I do a reading, and like let's say, oh my God, I think my boyfriend's gonna break up with me, and I pull the cards when I'm all upset. I will put out the cards, and it'll look like my boyfriend's it'll tend to be very negative. If I'm like, oh, I think my boyfriend's going to ask me to marry him, and I put out the cards and I'm all emotionally happy about it, it will tend to be like that. I'll give you an example of how I learned how the cards worked like that. I was sitting I had a new tarot deck, and I was sitting in front of the television watching an old movie about a dog dying or something, right? You know, like Lassie or something. And I was just playing with the deck, you know, just trying to get familiar with what the pictures look like, you know, so I know how to use them. And I was just going like shuffle, shuffle, whatever. And the dog dies, right? And I start crying, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh no, Lassie, oh no, or whatever it was, Old Yeller or whatever. And as I was crying, I'm just shuffling arbitrarily like this. All the sad cards started flying out of the deck, and I started laughing so hard. I said, it's not even a real emotion. I was laughing about a pretend dog. Okay. So, but the cards were saying, see, we're picking up on your emotions when you do that. So that's when I
Oh,
said, oh, so it's very hard to read for yourself when you're in it. Okay. If I can ask, I can totally say, oh, geez, I wonder if it's going to be crowded at the market at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. What time should I go? And I have no emotional attachment. Totally get a good answer. It's like, oh, good. I'm glad I didn't. Or my niece is asking me about a job she's applying for. I'm not emotionally attached to it. I just want to kind of help her. I don't care.
mhm.
I mean, she's got a good job already. It's nothing emergency, and I can get good readings. And my clients, I'm not emotionally, I don't have direct freak out about
Right.
what they're going through, so I can read for them. So,
Mhm.
but that's
Another thing I've wondered is, everything exudes energy, everything, including these cards.
yeah. Oh, sure.
So when you ask your client to pick a card, are they picking the card that's radiating a frequency that's similar to their frequency?
The way I do it, just me. All readers are different. I keep emphasizing that all readers read differently, or that I know of. Have my clients. I don't think I've ever read for you in person. I don't think I have. But so when I give them the whole deck, shuffle, give me the whole deck back so they can put the energy into the entire deck, and then I can answer their question. So I don't have them pick a card, but yeah, I'm sure that there's some energetic force for people that ask the people to pull the cards. Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. The cards flip out. I always ask my clients to keep them one way, like the pictures like this, because I swear sometimes they'll be shuffling them like that and the card will come upside down somehow. And to me, that's an indicator that I need to pay special attention to that card that everyone was trying to keep upright. Suddenly it's upside down. It's like, I better pay attention to that card. So I said, ooh, okay, this one came upside down. Let's make sure we examine what happened, where this card fell and why it fell the way it did.
Mhm. Now, what do you think about all these readers all over YouTube?
I don't see them. I don't know who you're, I,
Oh, there's
if they're,
tons.
if they're legit, they're legit. If they're good, they're good, you know,
But
if
can you do a general reading like that?
you can
All
do it remotely.
answers for the week of March.
Oh, well, that's a little general. That's up to you if you're interested in that. But that could be astrologically. I mean, but each to get a good astrological reading, you need to do place, time of birth and all that, and really go into your chart. So, I mean, if you want to see people that just do general readings for the entire planet, or for everybody that's listening or something, there's some legitimacy to it, or whatever you pick up from it. But I would have to see which readers you're talking about. But
Oh, okay. Because it's tied in with astrology. So if someone did a general reading for all cancers for March, you're
yeah,
saying they're
sun sign's a little rough. I mean, you know enough about astrology. Just your sun sign doesn't mean too much.
okay.
Because then all the Tauruses would be the same, and all those.
Right.
So it's time of birth, place of birth. Even if you want to get into numerology, your name as it appears on your birth certificate. I mean, you can keep going. And I think astrology is very legit, but you have to go to an astrologer who knows what they're talking about, and have them down
Yes,
and
because
do
it's complicated.
yeah, and do the
Right.
computer program, and find out where you were, if you know where and you were born, and what date, what was rising, what was all this. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I know when I listen to the astrologers, a lot of times it keys in with what's going on with the tarot and what's going on with the world. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So no, the good astrologers. I have a couple that I talk to, and some that I just read and say what's going on in the earth, and it's like, oh, that's so interesting, because it does seem to be coinciding with the fact that Trump got elected, and this kind of, and the shifts that are happening.
So would you or do you do a general reading for the United States?
I could, if yeah, I would. It's just
Oh.
that's we'd have to ask. I would rather ask a little bit of an aspect of it, because there's 500 million people, not 500, 300 million, or however many we have. So it's like, do you mean the government? Do you mean, the finances? But that can be different throughout the United States. But yeah, there's the United States has an astrological sign.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. And what's your favorite spread?
Depends on the question, of course. I always say that, but I like the standard not Rider Waite. I was going to say that Celtic Cross. First,
Yes.
yeah, it just
Mhm.
encompasses everything. And then,
Mhm.
and a lot of times the client will have some add-on questions from everything that you get. So it's great. First card is, what's this about? What's crossing you? Why did you ask the question? What's been happening that leads up to the question? Who are you in the question? What's happening in the future? Negative. How do other people affect or are responding to this situation? Positive outcome. And then I do a few in the bottom to just emphasize the others, you know, to just kind of confirm the others. It's like, oh, I see why this, because there's a few added cards at the bottom. One I love to do that not every reader does is a key card. And it means, okay, you want to ask me all about your job situation. Let's really ask, like, why spiritually you set up this situation in your job. Why did you do it in the big sense? And I call it the key card. Like, why did, like, because you can look
That's
around.
good.
Yeah, and it's always like, it's very often something completely different than when you think it is. So it's like when you came into the earth, it's like you came down. Why did you set up your marriage? You know, why did you do this? What did you agree to learn before you came down from heaven by setting yourself up in this marriage? And that card will say, oh, maybe you want to learn about your relationship with your mother. Maybe you want to learn about patience. Maybe, you know, so the really big spiritual card is often really key. It says, okay, so then a lot of times I'll say, oh, when you're stuck in this marriage situation, think about this card. You know, this is what you're really trying to learn. You know, maybe you're trying to learn about your mother and you're acting like your mother in this thing, or you're projecting that your mother's going to behave like this. So, you know, it's helpful in the whole situation. And it's,
So you discovered that you were psychic as a little girl?
I don't believe that. I mean, I think everyone has the gift. Everyone
Yeah.
says, when did you find your gift? And I'm like, everybody has it. I just practice more. It's like if you work in a perfume factory, and if you worked in a perfume factory, you'd be able, oh, Angela, this is obviously jasmine. This is obviously daisies. This is obviously roses. And I'd be going, that smells familiar, but I don't know what it is. You know, I'd be struggling. And you're like, oh, geez, how can you not know that this smells like this? But it's just another sense. And so, but if I practiced and I worked in this perfume factory, I'd pick it up. Right.
Well, why did you become a tarot reader?
Okay. I was in college at first, and I had a roommate, Marianne, and she was from New York, and she always wanted me to have a tarot reading. So when I did my semester, yeah, I was like, okay. I said, so when I did my semester abroad in London, I've had my tarot read, and I found it really helpful. So when I moved to New York after graduating Colgate, I was English literature major, as I said. I continued to have tarot readings sporadically, and then one day I just looked at the cards and I said, I wonder what these symbols mean. And, you know, these are so interesting. Why does the symbol look like that? So I bought a deck and a book, and I just started teaching myself. So, and just started meditating with the cards. A great way to start learning with the cards is do a guided meditation. Like, here's the 8 of Cups, which is a fun card. Imagine that get into a meditative state, shrink yourself down, go into the, you know, try to remember all the details in the card, open your eyes, see what you forgot, close your eyes, go in and meditate, enter the card, talk to the people, walk around, see what's what, you know, hey, how are you? See what creatures come up, or what questions you have, or what they have to ask you. There's the moons, what's up there in the moon, or whatever. Then when you're ready, sometimes you go out for like an hour and you don't even realize it. It's like, but it's a great way to learn and get familiar with each card. And then when you're ready, say goodbye, everybody. Do you have anything for me? Just make sure that you remember what the card that you're leaving the card so that you don't space out all day. Just say, okay, yeah, now I'm big again. And say, now it's the card, goodbye. And make sure you're out of the card. And but that's a great one of the great ways that I started to learn the tarot. And
that is a great idea. I love that meditation aspect.
Yeah, just pull one in the morning. Just shuffle the deck and pull one out and see what the angels want to share with you that day.
I do like to do that, to pull a card, and also with oracle decks too. So oracle decks, can we talk about oracle decks and tarot Okay, what's the difference?
You can use an oracle deck for divination if you want to, but a tarot is a tarot. A tarot deck is a tarot deck. A tarot deck is always 78 cards. So that
Okay.
and there's a million different oracle decks. There's angel cards and oracle cards, and there's so many now, and there are literally like tens of thousands of tarot decks. Even that 78, but a tarot, I'm always like, a tarot is always 78 cards. It's just what it is. You can use the oracle decks or whatever, however you like, but it's not a tarot. And you can use it for divination. I just prefer the tarot because I'm kind of traditional.
Yeah.
I like the history. I like the tradition.
Yeah. I like the artwork too.
There's so many. There's so many. And I always ask people if they're trying to learn to start with yours and mine favorite deck, the Rider-Waite.
Yes.
Because most of the other decks, I would say over 90% are tarot decks are based on the Rider-Waite images. And so once you start with the Rider-Waite, you can go to your vampire deck, you can go to your hobbit deck, you can go to your mermaid deck. There's a million. There's a mermaid deck I use when I go to Nantucket because it's just so fun, and it's like all these mermaids. But it's you can get a little crazy but it just makes your life a lot easier if you just start with the Rider-Waite.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, there are some cards here that have a connotation of being scary and negative. And I actually like a couple of them. So here's 3 of them that there might be more, but we have the Tower.
Okay.
Which I actually like that card. And then we have Death.
Okay.
And then we have the Devil. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more about these cards and the positive and negative aspects of these cards? Let's start with the Tower, which I like.
And there's no negative cards, even though that's hard to imagine, though they're not always negative. And you're right that you like the Tower. You would, because you like change. You like to do all crazy different things, and that's cool. But the Tower is, it's always progress, but always through reversal. So the way you want to tell the story about the Tower is the Tower is blowing up. Oh, it's horrible. And the king and queen are dying. Oh, it's horrible, terrible, miserable. It's like the World Trade Center blowing up, and really horrible. But how else are we going to get a beautiful new Oculus Center and a new Freedom Tower? You have to have destruction before you can have progress. So it's always progress, but always through reversal. Oh my God. It's like what's happening with the stock market now. We've got it. And Trump is explaining, it's like, we've got to get rid of this fake economy so we can build a real economy. So it's not so dependent on just having the government. So but maybe it's going to be scary for a while so that we can build a better tower. So you always think about the future, that this will be a better tower once this is torn down.
Yes.
That's the idea. Maybe the queen have to go, their time is over. So that's the positive aspect of it. But it is scary when you look at it. I'm not going to say no. It's like, oh, you might get fired, but that's okay.
It might work. Yeah, it'll probably work out. Okay, here's the Death card that I think a lot of people automatically assume someone's going to die.
I get so scared of this one. It's great. And I always say if it meant death, I would have like bodies stacked up in my apartment, right? Every 78 cards, every dead body, right? So it doesn't make sense that it means death. It means transition. Of course, if you're asking a question about if someone's going to pass away or my grandma's in the hospital, it definitely could mean death. But it can also mean transition to a new way. Like think about death. Think about what if you're alive and then you're dead. Wow, big transition. It's like transition.
The ultimate. Yeah.
I'm going to heaven. It's going to be death, a totally big transition. So
it's similar to the Tower, really, right?
Yes, but it's more like transitional, where the Tower is more. The Tower is always by destruction, by reversal, by some reversal of fortune. Usually you get the Tower. Okay, here's a distinctive difference. The Tower, it's usually like, say you've been in your job for too long, and You know you hate your job, but you refuse to go and get another one. And you keep whining about your job. Okay. I can't, I'm always working at this job. And 3 times you come in and see me and ask, when am I going to get a job? And you never try to get a new job or anything. Okay. So this is you. Okay. You're hitting your head against the wall. When the angels finally get tired and the universe gets tired of you wasting all your energy, you get the tower. I said, if you don't be careful, you're going to get the tower. They're going to blow this up on you and you're not going to like it. It's going to be, oh my God, Monday morning, I got fired. I'm on the street. Okay. It's like, and it will be all right, but you're needed. It's like the angels need to blow you out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. So you can prepare people. You can give them a warning.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All the time. If they listen, if they listen, it's another problem. But yeah, I can tell them what to expect.
There is a card that I really don't understand. The devil.
I love the devil.
Oh.
Okay. A lot of times I use it for drug addiction, but it can be many things. Like I was just talking about someone who won't leave their job or whatever. The devil, look at how cute he is. Okay. And this looks so scary, right? It's a scary, no, but he looks so scary. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm the meanest guy. And you look and he looks like he's so mean to those people. He tied them up, right? But if you look a little more carefully, those people are not tied up very carefully at all. They can take those chains off whenever they want. They are stay there, aren't they? And look at the devil's face. He doesn't even care. He's looking for Mother Teresa. He's looking at somewhere else. Those people are snake fascinated. It's like drug addiction. Yeah, you can be drug addicted, but the drugs don't dance across the table and down your throat either. You can be in a bad relationship or codependent relationship. You get that card. Why are you hanging on to this? It's like the guy beats you all the time, or the woman is mean to you all the time, whatever it is. But I don't have anybody else, or whatever. It's like, okay, that devil.
Okay, well, if that was reversed, what would that mean?
It would mean great. It would mean you're letting go of your addiction somehow, or trying to. It's like, I got to stop eating cotton candy all the time and getting fat. I have to get out of this relationship. I have to stop doing whatever is not serving me. The way people phrase it, not things that don't serve you anymore. That would be a good card if you had the devil upside down.
Oh, okay.
The people would be the people, though, if you think about it, if they really were in that card, the chains would fall right off their neck.
Oh,
yeah, if they were upside down. Yeah, they'd be like, oh, I'm not really trapped here, am I? Maybe I will just go put some clothes on.
So they're just trapped by the mind. It's the mind trap.
Yes.
Not a physical trap.
Yes. And there's another card that indicates that. I love the 8 of Swords.
Oh, you do?
Yes, because the lady looks so scared there. And here she is. And she's trapped by the swords, right? But at first you're like, oh, this poor lady. No, she's so trapped. Oh, poor lady. But you look more carefully and her feet are free and she can wiggle out of those bonds pretty easily. It's not that big of a deal, right? And the swords are right there to free her if she wiggles a little bit. The swords are always bringing.
Oh. So the answer is right there.
Right. And she's just choosing not to wiggle. Instead, she's standing there going, somebody tie me up in a swamp. I guess I'm gonna stay here.
And she's looking in the opposite direction. She's not looking to where the help is.
Yep. And she's not even trying. She's somebody tie me up. So I shorthand for this card, I call it daggers of the mind. It's like somewhat like the devil too. There's a deck called the After Tarot. And I always thought it was designed years ago. And at first I thought, oh, how cool. What a cool idea. And the idea of the artist was to, or the magician, whoever drew it, is to what happens next. Okay. So I said, that'd be a great card, a great tarot deck to have. Then when I saw what he did for this one, I was like, nah, he doesn't get the tarot. He has a knight coming to save her.
Oh.
Oh, she has to save herself.
Yeah.
Like an Anne Hathaway movie.
Okay. Well, was this a man?
What?
Was this a man that drew that you said drew the after?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said he.
Oh,
okay.
I said arbitrarily.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, the after. I think it's called the After Tarot.
I've never even heard of that.
It was written a few years ago. I'm sure you could still find it, but I don't know. But this is, I always thought, no, she has to free herself. That's the only way out.
Which is the answer to everything, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and especially with the tarot, it's encouraging you a lot of encouragement to, hey, you have the power, baby. A lot of the cards are you have the power.
I'm assuming most of your clients are female.
Yes, but that's interesting because my most regular clients that call me daily are men.
Daily?
Daily, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do you pick a card for them in the morning, or you do a spread for them in the morning?
One is a gentleman that he owns a restaurant in New Mexico, and I feel like I run the restaurant. It's like I've never been out there. It's a Mexican restaurant. He's just a great guy. And but he's always like, should I hire this guy? Should I fire this guy? Just to get some guidance. And then there's another man in Jamaica who he's a gay man and he's closeted, which because you can't really be gay in Jamaica. So he calls me probably not every day, but every day or two. So just needing guidance, trying to get where he needs to go. They're both making great progress, but it just takes a while. And sometimes they need you to just have some daily or almost daily guidance. Let's get this going. Let's get your life happier. Let's move along. I want your life to go faster. We don't have time for this.
Right. And then eventually kind of wean them off of you.
If they want, I'm always, some readers will not allow you to come, I don't want to see you for another month or whatever. I'm like, I mean, they just don't like to work like that. I don't care. You can call me every day. You can call me on your birthday every year.
It's like therapy. It's a form of therapy, spiritual therapy.
Yeah, some people I don't
understand that
in years, and then suddenly they're back, and I'm like, oh yeah, hi, So no, I don't care. It's just when you've got a problem and you need to dig out, call me. If you don't call me. Just need a broad overview, like what can I expect? Whatever.
And what kind of functions do you do? Who would hire you?
Who would hire me? I just did one that was really fun for Forbidden Well, which is like a wellness center. And we did it at Gospel, which is a really cool nightclub in New York. So I did, that was a wellness center. It was a big nightclub scene for Fashion Week. And then I did tarot readings in a separate room. What else have I got coming up? I have a birthday party in upstate New York on Saturday. On Sunday, I may do another thing for wellness for Forbidden Well. I do corporate parties.
Here we have this really fun picture. What's going on here?
Oh, that's a bridal shower. Oh, that was adorable. The name of they did the whole theme. It was just Stephanie's bachelorette, the darkness is, only the worthy may enter. And you can see everyone was wearing black and everything. Yeah. I did readings for the ladies. They rented a brownstone in New York and did a bachelorette weekend. Bachelorettes are big with tarot reading. Yeah, I do a lot of them. I'll go down to the Jersey Shore. That is a open house in Nantucket where they were trying to sell the house and they wanted to have like some entertainment so people would stay and hang out and look at the house. So they set me up in a corner. I use this shot all the time, and I have to give commission to my friend's personal assistant. She just shot that, and I use that shot all the time for some reason. Yeah. So
I just love that picture. I love everything about it, and you just look so happy.
It was,
and you look great. Everything. It's just a great picture.
Yeah, I was tan, and it was Nantucket, which is always beautiful. Oh, and there's my mermaid deck. That I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just has cute little mermaids.
You do travel. You travel around New York. Do you go to other places?
New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, any place that people will have me. Strangely, I do a lot of Philadelphia. And I must have a shortage of psychics in Philadelphia because I'm always in Philadelphia.
And that's because you're so good.
Oh, thank you. But it's like, I'm like, when they call me, I'm like, yeah, it's hard to find people in Philadelphia. I think there's like one. But I do think that they have a law against it, and I think they enforce it. That's my only explanation. In New York, we have the law that you can't do soothsaying, but I just have a disclaimer it's to protect against the unscrupulous people,
Right.
which people say, don't you think that's terrible that they have that law? And I'm like, no, it's not. They need that law. There's some unscrupulous people there. And at least
Mhm.
get them on soothsaying as a misdemeanor or something.
Is tarot just for adults, or have you ever
no.
read for kids?
Oh, I wish I probably shouldn't show the kids picture, but yeah, I just did one I did 8th grade graduation. Oh my God, it was adorable. And they had like a pool in the back, big slidey chutes. And so it was these little girls in bikinis with the slidey chutes, and then they'd have a tarot reading and eat Chick-fil-A. It was great.
That sounds
Yeah, I did. There was another sleepover party I did I think that was New Jersey recently. Yeah, I do kids. Halloween. Yeah. Like
Oh, Halloween.
the
So
kids.
in those, when you're hired for a party, how long is the person's reading? 5 minutes?
I always suggest allowing for 10 minutes per person for a sensible reading. 5 is pretty short, and then I'm like pushing you away, and I don't want to feel like that. It's like,
Okay, so 10. Okay.
It takes a minute to formulate your question anyway and shuffle. So I don't want to be, so 10, but
Well,
10 good.
Do you need a little bit of space in between, or time in between readings, or can you just go from one to the other to the other to the other?
Not in between readings, but after an hour and a half, I totally need a break.
Oh,
So I always
yeah.
put that in the contracts, like after an hour and a half, 15-minute break, because otherwise I'm like, because it's a lot of talking,
It is a lot of talking,
Yeah.
and it's emotional. It can get really emotional.
And you're switching gears every new person, you're switching gears. So it's a lot, but I can go pretty long as I have a break every hour and a half. So I've got one 5 hours. It's just some
5 hours.
Yeah, one code. That's in June sometime. June 6th. Oh, because it's 6.
What is that?
It's just a lady's party. She just wants to have her friends over and have a party. And
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's a tarot party, or let's do something fun party.
Do you teach?
I will. I don't have a regular gig or anything, but yeah, sure, I'll teach people. It's mostly teaching them to get out of their own way, and teaching you to get out of your own way so you can tap into your psychic abilities.
Oh, okay. So you're going to teach people to read for themselves.
Read with the basics.
Okay.
I mean, I can teach you each individual card, but you can do that on your own. But a lot of times people get stuck when they're trying to learn how to read the tarot. And mostly when I have done it a few times, it's like, no, okay, I can show you the spreads and how to, do the logistics. But what you ultimately have to do is, I always say, you have to learn how to, remember I was telling you how to do meditation on the cards and just talk to you. You got to get out of the way of the cards, let them talk to you. Sometimes it's hard for people. So it's like, and then they may get an aha moment at some point.
Now, are there signs of a tarot card reader that's really just out to scam you?
I'm trying to think. It's well, me personally, I mean, it's up to you if you want to go. I don't like to badmouth the competition, but it's up to you if you want to go to a gypsy that you want to pay for spells and things like that. So that's up to you, because my rate is just strictly hourly. Either you want to pay me for my time or not, but other people will I will pray for you and charge you this much. I'll bury something in the backyard for you and charge you this much. That's a little different than what I do.
It sure is, because I used to know a gypsy family when I had a business in the Harbor Place in Baltimore. There was a authentic gypsy family there. They yanked the kids out of school, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I really liked the daughter. She wanted to leave the whole gypsy thing, and she wanted to go to college. But if she went to college, her parents would disown her.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that pure gypsy. So she would tell me a couple of things that her mom would do. Her mom had many names. And she told me this story that I was so surprised she told me, and I just think it's horrible. So this is a gypsy story.
Okay.
Her mom has lots of regulars. She had an 1-800 number and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes she would go to clients' homes. And so she told this one client, she would tell her periodically to go put money in a shoebox in the closet. Okay. And then the mom would go visit the client, And the mom would go into the closet and take the money out of the shoebox and buy jewelry or whatever she wants with it.
Sure.
And I found this horrible. At the same time, the client knows what's happening.
Oh, they did know.
Well, I mean, the money's missing unless the lady
Maybe they
never
don't
looked
check.
in the shoebox.
Maybe they didn't check. I don't know. I do have a gypsy story secondhand. I did a really nice Christmas party in Scranton, Pennsylvania last year, and it was fun and everything. When I was making the arrangements on the phone with the gentleman, it was his corporate party, and he goes, yeah, we had somebody last year, and I said, oh, well, why don't I'm just curious, like, why don't you use the people from last year? She goes, oh, he goes, it was twins. It was a pair of twins, and I was like, gypsies. I said, gypsies, and he goes, yeah. I said, well, why don't you use them again? He goes, well, we had them and they were there. It says, but at the end of the evening, there were a lot of purses missing.
Oh dear.
And I was like, no, it was, and I don't know who those people were or whatever, but I was like, you do have to be a little, like I said, I'm glad that it's on the books that it's illegal. At least they can get them on that when they find these suspicious activities. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that whole thing of there's a spell on you, give me another $1,000, that just infuriates the heck out of me.
Oh, well, and strangely, in almost a positive way, people come to me all the time and say, do I have a spell? They've already been to a gypsy. Do I have a spell? Do I have a curse on me? And so I read, because of course it's legit. People, you can put spells on people.
Mm-hmm.
So I have never found anybody that had one on them, but they've been told by a gypsy that and they're freaking out, walking around New York thinking there's a curse. And so I'm like,
that's so irresponsible. Just makes me so mad because you affect that person possibly for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad, but it's, you have to, I just like to use my, whatever I'm picking up. It's just use my time. And if find it helpful, great. Yeah,
I do like that you say with every reading, there's an upside. There's good news with every reading.
Well, yeah. And people say, well, strangely, men are the ones who are afraid at parties, especially. They're like, I don't want to have a reading. Oh no. And I'm like, why don't you want to have a reading? I said, I'm not going to, curse you or anything. And they go, oh, what if you tell me I'm going to die or something? So they're afraid of not having the control, which I think is cute. It's funny, like why men are so afraid of flying, because they can't, men are more afraid of flying than women because they can't fly the plane if something goes wrong. So it's about control or something. But I think that's kind of funny, but yeah, but mostly it's there. But when I say that something does challenging come up, hey, am I going to lose my job? I'm like, hey, it really doesn't look that great. I'm seeing, maybe you're going to have a surprise Monday morning or whatever, there's something negative that comes up or whatever the question is, that there's a negative connotation. And I'm like, so you can also say, hey, what can I say? Well, let's look at the positive. Let's see if there's anything you can do to flip it around. And then we pull cards, say, hey, did you think about talking to your supervisor? Did you think about, this? Did you, maybe you should do this,
So you give advice too. You help them. There's guidance here.
Yeah, the cards will help you. Yeah, they're here to help you.
Now, would you tell someone that they're going to die?
If they asked me, nobody's ever said, that they do ask me about their health, and they may have like one time, I do remember, but really only one time. And it was this guy. He came in and he was like, am I going to have a heart attack or something? So I said, okay, let me see how you're doing, and he shuffled the cards and everything. And I said, well, you've been okay, a lot of stress. I said, you're all stressed. I said, wow, I had the tower or something coming up in the future. And then I got, and he goes, yeah, my doctor told me I have high blood pressure. I should start taking medicine, and I don't want to take it. And I'm like, well, that's it's going to be your result. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. If I were you, I'd suck it up and take the medicine,
Yeah, because you got the tower in the future, dude.
Yeah.
Take the prescription.
Yeah, I wasn't going to tell him no. I was, I'm totally going to be honest with him and say, you got some problems coming up. Then his face went white. It's like, yeah, sorry. I take my high blood pressure medicine too. It's like, you've got to take your high blood pressure medicine. Yeah. So it's really kind of funny. But
have you ever had a bad reading?
Well, that was a pretty bad one. But I mean, when people don't, it's upsetting when people don't want to hear it. One was not, I wouldn't call it a bad reading, but I felt like I was just getting 0 hits for this poor lady. And it was a housewarming party or something like that. And I was in or something. They set me up in the basement. It was nice. And everything I said, she was, no way. You know, I said, your boyfriend, I said, I don't think this is going to work out, and da-da-da. And I said, I just don't see you moving into this house, and da-da-da. And she goes, this can't be right. So we're moving. We just bought a house. We're moving in, and da-da-da, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry it's not resonating with you, but I can't, you know, I can't switch the reading. I got to tell you what this is what's I'm coming out with. So she was disappointed. The other people in the party were happy enough, I guess. So I was like, well, I'm sorry I didn't, just nothing hitting with her. What can I do? So then I don't know, it must have been a year later, and somebody suddenly put this rave review up on one of my sites or something. Oh my God, she's so great. And then I'm like, who is this? I was like, I don't even know who this is. And I'm looking at the name, and I'm like, let me get in my calendar and see if I can find this name. And it was the lady from the party. Everything I said came true. Her boyfriend left her, and they sold the house, and everything was, it was unfortunate, but I guess you would call that a bad reading. But it was so funny that she asked for another reading, and I was like, sure, and she said came true. And I was like, and I remember the reading so distinctly, because she was like, nope, couldn't get anything that she agreed with.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because probably after she left, she was like, that Angela Lucy sucks.
Yeah.
And then months later, she's like, I need her. Where is she?
Oh, yeah,
Bring her back.
Yeah, it was like a year later. And I was like, who is this person that's leaving me this nice review? I have no idea, and it was really funny. So, and then the phone rang, and she goes, can I have another reading? But I mean, I felt that was a bad reading, as far as like not connecting, but it turned out, connected. So.
Well, okay, here's the final question.
Okay.
How do you think tarot cards work?
That's a great question. Just like anything, it is just using your intuition to read the energies off the cards. That like I said, I guess if we could figure that out, I guess you're accessing the quantum field in a small way.
Mm-hmm.
You know about the quantum field.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just you relaxing, letting everything talk to you. It's almost like serendipity, but you have not. The thing is no filter. Just don't try not to. It's an exercise in no filter, in not having any psychic, in believing that whatever you're saying is true. A lot of times in my readings, I will say things. Because you can tell I talk quickly. And so something will come out of my mouth, and it's a phrase that I never use, or, it's like, and I'm like, I don't, and then the person will say, oh, that's just what my grandmother says, or, something silly like that. Like, oh, that's what he said, or something. And I'm like, what about or I'll say something, what about white curtains or something? I'll say something off the wall and say, oh, we were in that room with the big white room, or, it's just allowing everything to come through you. And I guess it's just, I do meditate in the morning. I try to meditate every morning. Skip sometimes, but it's like trying to tap in and try to just let it all hang out. So just let it all hang out. Let the quantum field come tap into you as best it can through the cards. So
it's that filter. Like when you teach people, as a teacher, you're teaching them how to read, and then you also have to address the filter aspect of it.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like I consciously stop the filter, because it's like, oh, I don't want to say this. It's like, say it, and it's like, I don't want to tell him this,
and you tell them.
Yeah, and I got to.
Yeah, you do.
And it's my job.
Yes, I agree with you. That's why they're there. They want to,
It's my job, Mom.
So you don't keep, you don't keep any information back from the client.
No, that's not my job.
That's right.
But like I said, if it comes up, then I'm like, okay, let's see if we can do anything about it. Maybe we can't. Maybe you have to go the hard way. But how can we navigate?
All right, Angela Lucy, tarot card reader. How can people get a hold of you for private reading and also for functions?
Any way they would like. I'm easy to reach. You can call me at, let's just do Angela. Okay, Angela at tarot-cardreader.com. Angela at tarot, T-A-R-O-T -cardreader.com. 917-992-4449. Instagram, tarot card reader Angela Lucy. Pretty boring. Just the longest you can go. Tarot card reader Angela Lucy on Instagram. Then there's a book now button on there. That's super easy. But just Google tarot card reader Angela Lucy. You'll see a lot of stuff.
Okay, and you're in New York, so you're East Coast time. Just so
I'm in New York City. I also do readings remotely by Zoom or FaceTime or phone. This morning I did a phone reading. That's what the guy wanted to do from Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. And he was also a party planner. So I was like, hey, keep me in mind for parties in Dubai. I'll fly. I got
That's a good connection.
Yeah. And
Fly you out to Dubai to do parties.
Yeah, totally. They do that all the time. They always get talent from New York.
You know, the pictures you post from the various parties and functions you do, it looks like everyone is having a blast.
People love it, and it's a great conversation starter. I mean, if you got a party and a lot of people have not had a tarot reading ever, they're like, she told me this, she told me that, oh my god, and then they start, oh, she told me this, and so so they'll babble for the rest of the party about the reading, so it's fun.
Yeah. Angela Lucy, tarot card reader, thank you so much.
It was so good seeing you again.
You too.
You got to come to New York too. So
I would love to come to New York. I've been actually thinking of coming to New York.
Yeah.
It's been twirling through my mind for a few months. Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah. Make an excuse.
Yeah. You're my excuse.
Yeah, come to see me.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your time
on your wonderful show. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.